Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Superman will officially have a sequel called Man of Tomorrow coming July 9th, 2027, according to James Gunn. So let's break down everything we know about this project and how the final 3 episodes of Peacemaker Season 2 will directly set this movie up, along with the other projects on the DC slate. We really need to do a full DC slate breakdown because that thing keeps changing like every month. And we need to explain some other new details we just learned from Superman and how Peacemaker could be setting part of the season in the horrific Earth X. But good news, we could see a live-action GI robot who takes care of it for us. By the way, I'm wearing our Peacemaker-inspired Eat Peace shirt, and I love it. You can grab one of these at nerdriot.shop, which is a great way to support us here at New Rockstars. And New Rockstars has partnered with some cool musicians to make Neon Dreams, a song we really dug that we think you'll dig too. Click the link to follow us as an artist on Spotify where you can hear the song. If enough people like it, we'll do some more in the future. Superman's sequel will be called Man of Tomorrow. James Gunn made this announcement with new comic art from Jim Lee, head of DC Comics, depicting Superman and Lex Luthor in Lex's green and purple Lex Spot armor. Maybe Lex has locked away a souped-up version of the Raptor flight armor that we saw in the Superman film. David Cornsweet shared versions of this art, and Isabella Merced responded to this on Instagram with "See you soon," suggesting Hawkgirl will be part of it. And Aaron Pierre also replied with excitement. He's playing John Stewart Green Lantern on the HBO Lantern series coming early next year. So along with David Cornsweet Superman, Nicholas Hoult Lex Luthor, Isabella Merced Hawkgirl, and Aaron Pierre Green Lantern, it sounds like Man of Tomorrow will also include Rachel Brosnahan Lois Lane, and maybe also Jason Momoa, who's going to play Lobo in Supergirl next summer. And hell, since we have those characters, I think we can expect others from the Argus Justice Gang crew, including Sean Gunn, Maxwell Lord, Frank Grillo, Rick Flag Sr., Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, Millie Alcock, Kara Zor-El, Crypto, and some of those Daily Planet actors too. James Gunn has also posted that Man of Tomorrow is the project he was teasing after Superman came out that he was busy working on, the treatment that turned into this script. He also said that while the script is done, he is now in what he calls the fun rewriting and punch-up phase. Production should be ready to begin in early 2026. And James Gunn even confirmed that the final 3 episodes of this current season of Peacemaker will directly set up Man of Tomorrow. So how will this season of Peacemaker end to do that? Well, James Gunn and the cast have all said that episodes 6, 7, and 8 are so wild, so filled with cameos, that they could not release those 3 episodes to press ahead of time. James Gunn said that episodes 6 and 8 in particular were his favorite of the season. Stephen Agee, who plays John Economos, was quoted as saying those 3 episodes even feel like a completely different show than the first 5 episodes of the season. So the quantum unfolding chamber and the connection between the main DC universe and this mysterious alternate universe that Peacemaker has wandered into that he calls the best dimension ever seemed to be a big part of that twist. In my breakdown of episode 3, I made what I think was a pretty strong case that this alternate universe is Earth X, a DC universe from the comics where Germany won World War II. There's the fact that Augie and Keith feel so comfortable in this reality, earning constant worshipful praise, and the fact that they pronounce a city we've always called Bloodhaven as Bloodhaven with a German umlaut over the U.
I thought you were Bloodhaven.
Despite James Gunn having it pronounced as the proper Bloodhaven in Creature Commandos.
Star City Metropolitan has brought in animal control experts from Metropolis and Bloodhaven.
And there's the fact that all the American flags in Argus HQ are rolled in a particular way so that they only show the red and white stripes and not the blue field that would contain the 50 stars representing the American states, suggesting that it might be a swastika or an SS that appears in the blue field. Also, yeah, everyone in this universe appears to be white, and casting only white background extras is something James Gunn has definitely not done in any of his other productions of these DC titles. Also, the fact that the opening titles show us alternate forms of Amelia Harcourt and Augie and Keith, but not any variants for any of the non-white characters. So yeah, I'm serious that this could be setting up a live-action GI robot to show up in this dimension and just go absolutely crazy.
It's been oh so long since G.I. Robot has sent Nazis back to hell where they belong.
Like in the final act of Inglourious Bastards. Like maybe when those opening credits end with all the characters piled up like corpses, that could really be something like how things end in that universe. But this could also be James Gunn's meta way of making us never want to go to the multiverse again in the DC universe. Like think about it, going multiverse, especially this early, isn't it kind of like jumping the shark as you're trying to build the early stages of a universe? So James Gunn could be saying, look, I know you're all obsessed with the multiverse from the Marvel side of things, but the first time we did it here, we had to go to a Nazi dimension. So is that what you want, kids? Is it? Is it? But also, I think we can expect some other cameos from across the DC multiverse. There's some speculation that Blue Beetle, or one of the Blue Beetles, could make a cameo in these final 3 episodes. 2023 Blue Beetle Jaime Reyes actor Zolo Marijuana said this in an interview.
I'm sure you've seen the rumors swirling that
Rumors of what?
Oh, here we go.
That I don't wear socks. It's true.
Oh no. The rumors of Blue Beetle appearing in this upcoming season of Peacemaker.
I have nothing to say to Peacemaker. I have nothing to say to this universe aside from the fact that I'm just a fan and really excited to see what the heck they got going on.
My man, you're just giving away that foot content for free. But yeah, this implies that the Ted Cord, whose voice we heard in the scrambled radio broadcast in the mid-credits scene of the 2023 Blue Beetle film.
Whoever turned on my computer, get a message to my daughter, Jenny Cord. Please, tell her that I love her, and that I'm sorry. And her dad is alive.
We could see that Ted Cord show up through one of the doors of the QUC in Peacemaker's final 3 episodes. James Gunn has made it clear that he's not afraid to retcon some previous era Zack Snyder DCEU things as canon, like using episode 3 of Peacemaker to establish that Rick Flag Jr.'s relationship with June Moon Enchantress, seen in the 2016 David Ayer Suicide Squad film, remained true for the history of the new DC universe. And I will not be surprised if he, temporarily uses the QUC to establish other past eras of DC franchises are just linked as part of that multiverse, just so that he could shut the door on them. For example, James Gunn has been very chummy online with Grant Gustin, who played Barry Allen the Flash in the CW series continuity, and that version of the Flash has already had a similar meta crossover event via the TV version of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. So maybe Gunn has some gag planned where that version of the Flash is gonna parody the cringy multiverse run / cameo fest from the 2023 The Flash movie. I think pretty much every Spider-Man fan has at some point in their life pressed their fingers to their palm and said thwip, hoping somehow webs could shoot out from their wrists. And I haven't yet invented a web shooter or grafted a silk spinner to my body. I don't need to, thanks to Zipstring Arachna. Unless you're about to get bit by a radioactive spider, Zipstring Arachna is the closest thing you'll get to feeling like Spider-Man. It straps to the inside of your wrist, and with a flick of your finger, you can fire out a loop of string, retract it, and do all the same tricks you would with the original Zipstring. It seriously feels like magic when the string shoots in and out. Zipstring Arachna can also be used with this awesome glow-in-the-dark string giving you powers even Spider-Man doesn't have. If you want a Zipstring Arachna of your own, you can sign up for the Kickstarter using the link below. If you can't wait that long, you can head to zipstring.com to get the original Zipstring that was featured on Shark Tank. Whether it's for yourself or someone else, Zipstring is one of the most fun toys out there right now, and we thank them for sponsoring today's video. But by the time we get to 2027, when Man of Tomorrow gets here, that would leave us safely in just this universe of characters, as James Gunn has put the DC multiverse to bed, at least for now. And we will see if Superman shows up in Peacemaker. There was a photo going around of David Cornsweet on set with John Cena, specifically when John Cena was wearing that douchey alternate universe Chris Smith clothing. Maybe it was just David Cornsweet visiting the soundstage that day. Maybe it was more. Technically, Cornsweet Superman already cameoed in Peacemaker since James Gunn retconned the Coverdale Ranch moment from the end of season 1, replacing the DCEU Justice League with the DCU Justice Gang, including Superman and Supergirl. So would it be that crazy to see them show up again in this season's final 3 episodes? We learned some really fun details from this behind the scenes video that David Cornsweet made for the Superman film.
It's a pretty cool job because I work with my best buddy Jimmy and also the super talented Lois Lane, who is just an absolutely phenomenal journalist and someone I deeply respect as a coworker, and only that, nothing else. Then, after catching up on the news and happenings in the world, I step out for a several-hour break in the middle of the day to deal with personal stuff.
You may have seen in there a front page story written by Clark about his nice guy heroics as Superman flying a school bus full of young cancer patients to see the Egyptian pyramids, part of the Grant a Dream Foundation. Clark added a post-it note to himself: "Stop crying." This is actually something Superman does in the comics in All-Star Superman number 10. And I would love it if we could actually see scenes like this in Man of Tomorrow. In another bit of DC news, we learned that DC Studios' dynamic duo animated film is moving forward with a script rewritten by Scott Neustadter and Michael H. Weber, who wrote 500 Days of Summer. This will be a Dick Grayson and Jason Todd team up, and it sounds like it's going to be an Elseworld story. So, a reminder of the full slate as we know it. October 8th will be the Peacemaker Season 2 finale, and it's interesting that it ends then because it will coincide with the weekend of New York Comic-Con, so let's see if James Gunn has some big DC news planned for that conference. Then, early 2026, Lanterns on HBO. Then, on June 26, 2026, Supergirl. Though, that movie might actually move forward to May 2026 since it looks like DC and Warner Brothers have a weekend sectioned off in late May, and now that Avengers Doomsday isn't going to be released in that month, a lot of other studios are moving stuff to that month trying to capitalize on that. And this might be the best move for Supergirl and for Warner Brothers because now, in late June and throughout July in 2026, it's going to be packed with other summer movie releases like Toy Story 5, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and a Steven Spielberg film. So that brings us to September 11th, 2026, Clayface. We're seeing an increasing number of set photos from Liverpool, including Matt Hagen actor Tom Rhys-Harris looking disfigured, and for another scene, using what looks like a Nosferatu standee, dancing to create some really crazy shadows. So that will bring us to 2027, and I think at that point we can expect a Paradise Lost series. That's the ancient Themysciran story about the Wonder Woman culture that James Gunn announced as part of his first Gods and Monsters SLATE announcement. And that brings us to July 9th, 2027, the release date of Man of Tomorrow, the Superman sequel. And by the way, 2027 is looking like another insane year. We're gonna have Star Wars Starfighter in May, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, and then later in the year, The Batman Part 2, and then Avengers Secret Wars at the end of the year. So yes, October 1st, 2027, Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2, bringing us to 2028. And I think at this point, maybe in May, we could see the DCU Wonder Woman, because James Gunn said that now that project is being fast-tracked after Superman was so successful, and that it's gonna be written by Ana Nogueira, who also wrote the script for Supergirl. Also in the calendar year of 2028, this could also be when we see that Booster Gold series that James Gunn has been talking about. But we know on June 30th, 2028, that will be the release date of the animated dynamic duo Elseworld story. And then I'm thinking in October 2028 will be when we finally see the Brave and the Bold Batman and Damian Wayne Robin movie. Maybe. James Gunn has just promised that the DCU Batman will not come out in the same calendar year as any of the Matt Reeves Batman movies. We actually have a really fun episode of Rumor Rundown coming out tomorrow that looks into the rumors on both sides of the debate on whether Matt Reeves Batman should merge with the rest of the DCU to be the official Batman and the official Gotham of this universe. I mean, hey, seeing James Gunn move so quickly on these plans, especially knowing he only announces things when the scripts are done and in good shape, just gives us so much confidence for this whole cinematic universe. Like Shang-Chi actor Simu Liu definitely had a response to this, implying he's waiting for that Shang-Chi 2 to come out. But I think it just really helps DC right now that their co-head of the studio is someone who is a workaholic and can turn out a script really fast. Comment down below with your thoughts, and a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Paulo Bianca, who supports us at the executive producer level. Follow me at EA Voss and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.